So if you guys haven't seen my first part of my egg freezing video, I'll have it linked here. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about the procedure specifically and kind of more of the technicalities and the biological parts about your ovaries and egg freezing and how everything works. Okay, so if you want to know why I'm doing it, why would I spend 12 grand doing this, you can look in the first video. So it's been a year since I've done this, so my memory isn't super clear, but I did save all of the footage from my Instagram story, so I'll be including certain footage here. So basically, first things first is you have to get all of your tests done. So you have to get like your, I think, STD, HIV, hepatitis, like all those like tests done. And then you have to get, I think, your AMH, maybe your AMH levels tested. And so I went to a clinic to get that done. Insurance doesn't cover it. And what your AMH levels tell you is how much ovarian reserve you have. So the older you get for women, the quality of your eggs decline and the quantity of your eggs decline. So the AMH levels test if you have enough ovarian reserve to actually even do the egg freezing process, because if you have like 0 ovarian reserve, it doesn't make sense to do it. So I actually came back with a very high number. I think it was like 5.8. Say that I haven't had issues with my period really throughout my entire adult life. I think there were 2 months in which my period didn't come on schedule. So I've never been a person that had issues with my period in terms of my period not coming when it's supposed to. I know a lot of girls, they'll go on birth control or they don't get their periods a lot, or they have PCOS or all that kind of stuff. So I've never had any issues, I guess, with that. I think you call them either when you get your period or on the 3rd day of your period, and they start the whole process of medication. Now, I didn't know this until after the fact. You have to call them when you get your period because they want to make sure that you're not pregnant while doing this procedure, and you can only get pregnant again when you're ovulating. So they want to make sure you have finished ovulating and stuff and you're not pregnant, because that would be weird to freeze your eggs or to stimulate follicles in your ovaries when you're having a baby. The first thing was like they showed me how to give myself shots. So they gave me a schedule and they gave me a calendar, and there were 2 medications I was supposed to take, Gonal and Menopur. And you mix them up yourself, and then you take a needle and you just push it, stab it in your stomach. And I believe they increased the dosage, and I think it was like 8, 9, 10 days of medication. So they kind of gave me this big box, and I still have it a year later. And it's really intimidating because you have to like refrigerate parts of it. I mean, it's not a small box, and in here are all of the needles. Oh my God. Like, there's, I don't know how many needles there are, but in here, they're all the needles that I use. I don't know why I haven't thrown this out, but I also wanted to show you how big the needles are. Like, this is not a small needle, guys. Like, this thing goes in your belly. And I don't know why I had such anxiety over doing this, because I was like, my job is to sell microneedling products, and Banish is all about that. But I am actually very terrified of needles, and I was almost crying the night before I needed to start giving myself shots because I was just so scared. It's like, because it's so like weird, it's not natural to give yourself shots and chemicals and inject yourself with hormones. And just for the sake of the video, I have a Banisher here. I'm sorry, I just needed to show you because, I don't know, people think like there's needles on here. It's absolutely like not even just comparable, like this thing that goes in, okay? So first showed me how to put the, how to mix the stuff and how to inject myself with the needles and stuff. The thing I wish this clinic did was she went super, super fast. And I've never done shots before. Like, I've never been a nurse before, so I don't know the technicalities of like, how do you pull a syringe? How do you push it in? Like all that stuff. So I actually messed up the first few days of giving myself shots. and each vial of medicine is like hundreds of dollars. So I basically wasted probably, I don't know, I wasted at least like $800 because I just didn't give myself enough of the hormone, because I didn't give myself the shots the right way because I was freaking out and I didn't know what I was doing. And I also, one mistake I made was that I did not push the needle far enough into my belly. So I'll just show you here. I'll just open a syringe, and I'm not going to do this like live, but you're supposed to like put like this in your belly, like put it in, like push all the fluid in. I just pushed the tip of it in thinking that it was going to go in, and that's apparently not what you're supposed to do. So I do wish this clinic like taught me more on like how to like use a needle properly and how to like, you know, poke myself. And I really think I had a lot of anxiety, so that's why I didn't push it as far enough. But yeah, it was pretty bad. And also like just little things like water droplets, water bubbles, like how precise you need to be. Like you have to be super, super precise in doing this, and making sure everything is sanitized and using your alcohol wipes to clean up everything. I mean, it's, I don't know, I was very surprised that they let you do this at home, because there's so many things that could go wrong. Obviously what I did, was wrong. Okay. Let's see. Some forms of the medication need to be in the refrigerator, be refrigerated. So, you can't be like running around a lot. Like you have to go home and give yourself shots, I think, at around the same time every day. Let me tell you why you're taking medication. So basically, every single month you have one of the follicles releases an egg, and that basically is your period. And when that egg doesn't get fertilized by sperm, it's basically your period, right? So what they're trying to do with this medication is taking all of the follicles in your ovaries and hyper-stimulating them, so that way they all grow into big mature eggs. And when they're big mature eggs, the doctor can go in and kind of go into the ovary and just like get out as many mature eggs as possible. But the eggs have to be big and mature in order for them to like get it through the needle. End of the procedure of you taking medication, they're going to retrieve all the eggs, and that's how you get, you know, the eggs you need for IVF. Okay. So yeah, taking the medicine wasn't great. I couldn't exercise, and that made me really sad and depressed, because exercise is such a part of my life. And I just felt so, how do I explain the feeling? I felt so like heavy in my pelvic area. I felt a lot of pain kind of walking. I felt a lot of pain just in my hip area. And I also think I developed an allergic reaction to some of the medication, because I had really, really, really bad like itchiness and redness and burning sensations around my hip areas. So I just felt a lot of pain. I didn't feel so much bloating, but just like really, really heavy there. And mentally, probably a little bit slower and more out of it than I would like, because your body is gorged on hormones. Emotionally, I don't think I was any different. I think I was normal, but it was just the pain in my hips that really, really hurt. So basically, when you're giving yourself these shots, you go into the clinic every day, and the doctor monitors the growth of your ovaries. And I think what happened for me was like the right side of my ovary was growing well, but the left side wasn't, or vice versa. And I actually think it's because I didn't inject myself with enough medication in the beginning, because I was messing up. So they actually extended the number of days I injected myself longer, because my body wasn't responding well to the hormones, which I think is really interesting, because my body never responds well to medication. I go in every single day, and they kind of measure you. They give you blood tests, all that kind of stuff. So that does take a huge part of your day. This is my arm. I don't know if you can tell, but this is because I've gotten my blood drawn literally, I think 6 times in 2 weeks, 7 times. I don't really know. 4 times. This vein is broken, you guys. It's done. I mean, it takes a huge part of your day to like go into the clinic and get measured and have a probe up your vagina to look at your ovaries and stuff like that. Like, it's not, you know, it's not like a, you know, it's not like an easy thing to do every day. So expect at least an hour and a half out of your daily schedule to get checked up. And if you're going to do this, I would highly recommend going to a clinic that is really close to your house. you don't really know exactly when your surgery date is, and the surgery date is when you go under and they take a big needle and they just kind of like take out all of the follicles and all of the eggs out there, and then they just immediately like put them in like ice. So it's what is it called? Centrified or whatever. Centrified. So there's absolutely no chance that there's going to be ice crystals around the eggs, and then you store them for life. And what's so cool is like they say that, you know, storing your eggs for 10 years versus 1 year versus 20 years, there's absolutely no difference, because the way the technology has evolved, like the eggs instantly freeze, you know, and like you don't need to worry about getting freezer burn on your eggs, right? Okay, so the scariest part is like, okay, they're saying, okay, Daisy, like your eggs are kind of taking too long to develop, but we're going to go with it. And like the next 2 days, you're going to have your surgery and you need to give yourself a trigger shot. And this trigger shot, I don't remember what it does. I will put it here below. It's been a year since I've done this. But basically the trigger shot is terrifying because it's this huge ass needle. Like it's a huge needle and it's really, really thick. And you need to stick it in your buttocks, like all of the needle in your butt at a specific time. So like, let's say it's like at 9:10 p.m. You have to stick it in your butt at a specific time and do it and give yourself this shot. I had the option of paying them, I think like $300 or whatever, for me to go to the clinic at like 10 p.m. or whatever and have them do it for me. But I was kind of like, I don't know. I was kind of like, well, I could save that $300. I mean, everything was just like adding up and getting so expensive. So I was like, okay, I can just do this. And my boyfriend was supposed to be doing this for me, but when he saw the needle, he was like, oh my God, he like ran away. So yeah, that was terrifying. So terrifying. You're taking a huge ass thick needle and you have to ram it in your butt, and you can't even see, like you can't see, you know, so like you're trying to like use 2 mirrors to angle yourself, and you have to just like stab it in. Like I was trying to like push it in gradually, like, but you have to like dart it in, and you only have a very specific time to do it at. So like you can't fuck it up. You can't mess it up. So I survived the trigger shot. And then I don't remember if like the day after or whatnot, you have to go into surgery. And when going to surgery, it's under anesthesia. So you cannot drink any water, I think the night before, and you can't eat anything. You go into surgery and you go under. I was super nervous during the surgery beforehand. I can't remember if I've ever gone under general anesthesia before in my life. Yeah. So then they extracted the eggs from me. I felt really great after. I felt really loopy, went home. I actually finished all my meetings for the rest of the day, and like the day went by super well. But then after the surgery, the next day I was in so much pain because your abs and your pelvic area feels like you had a really intense ab workout, and it like hurts a lot in that area. And yeah, it was like really painful and it really hurt. But I went to a holiday party that night, and then the next day I did my collab with Teresa Romer. So I was out and about very shortly after the procedure. It's definitely not an easy process, this whole egg freezing thing. You know, it's not like men who can just like, you know, jizz in a cup of sperm and like, you know, whatever, freeze it. Like this is a very invasive process. You have to put yourself through a lot of hormones. Your ovaries like feel like they're gonna burst, and like there's just a lot of pain in your pelvic area during this time. So it was definitely a huge undertaking. It takes a lot of time out of your day to do it. And it's also very expensive. So I said I paid, I think $12,000. And if you want to do IVF, where they take your eggs basically, and then they take your partner's sperm, put them together, make an embryo, and then re-put it back in, I think it's another $10,000 or $5,000. I'm not sure, but it's an additional fee if you want to do IVF. And again, IVF is not guaranteed or whatnot. Would I do it again? I'm not sure if I would. And I'm being completely honest. I was actually thinking I was going to do 2 rounds, just get it over with. But after the first experience, it was just so like, oh, like I don't ever want to have to do that again. And I can't imagine couples who are trying to conceive and going through IVF and who go through like 6 rounds or 5 rounds or whatever many rounds of IVF. Like, oh my God, like I just don't know how they can get through that, because this in itself was really, really, like, it's really hard on your body. Like, it's not easy for your body to go through, and your ovaries at the end of it, like, even though you can't feel them, it just feels like it's just a lot of pain and a lot of like uncomfort and discomfort down there. So yeah, so I'm not going to do it another time unless I absolutely need to, and unless like I decide to do IVF in the future, but I think I'm good with what I did. And as for would I do it again? If I'd known what I would have known now, would I have done it again? Or would I recommend it? I don't know what to say to that. I'm not going to be somebody who sugarcoats things and say, oh my God, like, do it, you won't regret it, like, it's the best experience ever. Because I don't know. Like, I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know what's going to happen to these eggs that I freeze. I don't know if they're going to be viable. I don't know if I'll end up using them. I don't know, you know, like what if something happens at the place that they're stored at? What if the power goes? I don't know. Like, what if they lose them? Or like, I don't know. There's just like a lot of factors that are out of my control. And other than the financial burden, because again, it's very, very expensive, it just takes a huge toll out of your body, and it takes a huge toll out of you mentally and physically. And I don't know, it's just something that I didn't realize was going to take this huge of a toll for me. Like, I thought it was going to be super easy, in and out, like bam, bada bing, bada boom. And it really took a huge toll out of me during that time. So I hope you enjoyed hearing my experience about egg freezing. I hope I explained some stuff to you, and I hope that I was honest enough to share with you my journey and why I decided to do it. But, you know, I think it's really cool that I am part of a pioneer and a part of this new generation of women who are choosing to do this. And I know that it's only going to get more popular, and more women are going to be doing this at a younger and younger age. So I think it's kind of cool to be like, yeah, like we were part of this. But just know the pros and cons of doing this, and don't let people, you know, make decisions for you. This is your body. I know when I told people about what I was doing, I felt like a lot of people were judging me, blah, 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 blah. And honestly, I'm so glad I didn't listen to them, because this is my body, this is my life, this is my future. So do what you think is right for you, but also don't think of it as an easy journey. I think if I had more realistic expectations, and if I watched somebody who had gone through this, like real honest explanations, then I think I would have had a better experience, because I just would like be more mentally prepared. But because I thought it was going to be so easy, like I could just check it off my list, I think I was kind of, yeah, I think a lot of things surprised me through the process. I'm not going to do a part 3 because I don't know what else to say about this, but let me know in the comments below if you've done it, if you're thinking about it, what your concerns are. And I hope, if anything, we can create a supportive community in the comments and get some more words of wisdom for other brave women who have done this. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye! So it's my first time going under anesthesia, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I'm so happy right now. So happy right now, and I want to do it again. I mean, I don't want to do the shot part again, but I want to just do the anesthesia part. I think it's like so much fun. I don't know, I just feel like really happy afterwards. I just feel like a little bit of cramping, but that's it. And they told me not to work, but obviously, what am I doing? I just had a one-on-one. I just had a few phone calls. Of course I'm working, duh. Like, what should I do? Should I get my boobs down or something? I don't know. Probably not, but I just go in and they give me like something to relax me. That's what I think I need, like relax. I need to be relaxed. Okay, now it really hurts. Fuck. Like, it really, really hurts. I feel like I can't move at all. Like, even moving an inch really hurts.